Yeah, it was a worry about 6 months with my work, but she gradually started improving, and then I think we settled down and it came a lot better. How I feel at the moment hasn't changed half a lot because she still gives me a good hand in my activities, what I'm doing, and I feel I feel I'm quite satisfied with what is happening. Since she has improved, but when first 6 months I was worried about with the rest of the business what we do. So but since then, since she has improved, we're a lot better. If I have to give advice to somebody, I say don't give up. It will be all right. It will come right. And I think once you give up, that's the way you will go down. But that will be my advice. Don't give up.
After I knew that my husband had a stroke, I felt very much worried, and also I was very much depressed, and I felt very tired running to the hospital and coming back home to look after the house and do all the things that he had done before. I had to take over some of the jobs that he had done before, like doing the garden and taking the cars to repair for maintenance. By that time I was very much tired, and no one helped me except myself. But every day I have to go to the hospital to see him, and I was very frightened that he might die. And then I always come home alone and felt very tired. And I didn't want to tell anyone about my husband having a stroke because in our Chinese, some old sayings that people who must have done something seriously wrong, then they got these consequences of half side paralyzed or the whole body paralyzed. There's some evil things that we had done before. So I didn't want to tell others that my husband had a stroke and was paralyzed half of his body. I want to advise that being a caregiver, we have to be very sensitive. As a caregiver, I think the most important thing for us to do is to closely monitor the situation and the condition of the stroke survivor. The caregiver, they are also very tired, and actually one member of the family who is sick, it makes the whole family unhappy and also make the whole family tired, and the caregiver should look after themselves as well. Not just look after the stroke survivor.
I think it's the support of the family that helped each other, and all the children helped me, and we all helped each other understand what was going on. And one of the most, well, I don't think it was a frustrating thing, but it just her mood changes. So understanding that. But if you understand the risk factors, the opportunities to take to overcome strokes and that, if you understand the strokes a little bit better than what you had previously, I think you can overcome those times of so-called depression and times of frustration and that, yeah. And it's through, like I said, through encouragement, positive encouragement rather than negative.
I really didn't get that stressed out because I had to remain positive, because it wasn't me that was affected, it was my wife. So I didn't want to let her sickness affect me. And by me being positive, it would help her as well in her rehabilitation. What I found with my wife is that sometimes I'm having to be on her case all the time to push her to, maybe push her to as far as she can go, because I know her limitations. But I also know how to exceed her limitations. But getting her to, when she had that stroke, is to getting her to fully understand her limitations again, where she's at. So, and not doing things for her all the time. which helps as well. And I've encouraged the family not to do that as well, because when we go and visit family or friends, they go, they look at it and they go, hey, you sit there, relax, don't do anything. And that's the worst thing a person could do for them, because it's not helping in their rehabilitation.
We got on with life the best way we could. We took advice from everybody that we could, learnt how to manage in the house. Occupational therapy, of course, plays a large part. We had to accept the fact that things had to be done in the house and in the bedroom and everywhere else to make life easier for both of us. The fact that Bill is entitled to have 2 weeks every 3 months respite, and at the beginning I thought, I don't need that, and then of course it wasn't too long before I realised that you're very silly not to use it and accept it for what it is, because it not only gives me a break from Bill, it gives Bill a break from me, which I find is quite a good thing, because when we come back together again, we sort of start afresh.
I sort of coped with Joe having a stroke. We've joined some other support groups. One we go to once a month, and there we can sit and talk, and each one can compare with each other our own problems. We can listen to other people's problems and realise that, yes, they've got the same problems as we have, or we've got the same problems as they have. Another group we go to, it's a social morning. We can talk to each other, we talk to other stroke people, and help them, and we can see how sometimes how their carers help for their ones that have had the strokes. Well, the best advice I could give to somebody that their partner had a stroke is do what they can't do, but don't do what they can do, and let them carry on as a part of their physiotherapy for themselves. Let them do what they can do. You've got to step back from them and look what's happening to yourself. If you don't, you're going to be as bad as what they are.
As far as rules and regulations go within the house, early days I did have a problem with friends and relations who were always trying to help him. He only needed to move a finger and, can I do something for you? And I felt like the Wicked Witch of the West at times, because I'm saying, no, he can do that, let him do it. Don't help him with his speech to that extent. Don't put the words in his mouth for him. Let him try and work them out, or give him the first letter of the word he's searching for, because often then, when he hears the first letter, it works, and that's great. There was a distinct change in personality. We had to come to terms with that. The emotional stuff is quite strong early times. I think it's probably every now and again you're reminded of the fact that your life has changed, and there are changes that must be made. One of the ones was crying over the simplest things, which was not a part of Bill's feature before that. Getting upset, but in a totally different way. We all get upset at various times, but now it was over, once again, simple things flying off the handle, so to speak. And I, in retaliation, would do exactly that myself. You backfire until you learn and understand that that is all part of the illness. They can't help it. And also the other thing, when I think about it, was swearing. That was quite a surprise to learn that it can happen for somebody who doesn't normally do that. But there it was, happening. And now if he does it, instead of me growling and saying, don't do that, now we laugh about it. We laugh about all those things now and give each other a hug and say, well, that's a different word. I haven't heard that one for a while.